Looping statement in Python. Okay, in Python, looping statements are the core to automation and data processing. Okay, they're automated tasks and reduce the redundant data code. And these statements are essential for your efficient to the execution. Imagine you have a task to you want to write the like I love Python in 1,000 times. What you want to do, like a print the statement in thousand you have to type in. You have to do copy paste, copy paste, copy paste like in 1,000 times. To overcome that one, we can using the loops that can be repeated how many you can like an infinite time, how many time you can do in a only the 3 to 4 sentence of the code. That called as what very useful in the looping statement in a Python for repeated task. Okay. And let's see the what are the looping statement. The code constructs and execute the block of code repeatedly. Okay, I said right. If you have the block of code, that should be what you have to that statement should be what repeated, and the task should be repeatedly until your value will be equal. Okay, until the condition will be satisfied. Okay, what is the purpose of your looping statement? Means that automate your repeating task and iterative over the collections. Okay, and what is the benefit this of the looping statement? Reduces the code duplication, improving the efficiency by up to what 90%. Remember that one. It will be asked in your interview also. Okay, and there are two loops in our Python that called as first loop is what for loop and second loop is for while loop. Let's see the for loop. For loop is nothing but what iterating the over sequences. Okay, what is the purpose of that one? Iterating a no number of times over the elements in a sequence. Okay, you can see here the syntax, right? If you have to use the keyword is called what for, and your item. Item is nothing but your variable name in sequence. In sequence, you have to give the conditions or start value, end value, range value. Hoping when you start the programming, you get to know. Okay, and common sequences you can use right like a list, tuple, strings, range, etc. Okay, you can see here example right for I is taken as one variable and in range of what 5. So I'm printing what I. It range of 5 means like a I want to from print from 1 to 5 like that I given. Okay, you can understand in the programming, don't worry. Okay, and second is what while loop. While loop is what is a conditional repetition. Okay, we have a one condition that should be what repeated. You can use both of while loop or for loop. That is depends on the programming and that depends on the question. Okay, and this is the syntax while and condition. And here will be the printing statement with the indentation. Then you upload the we have to give the updation. Okay, you can show the insert condition becomes false. This prevents what infinite loops. If you do not any give the any condition, it will printing in a infinite loop. Okay, and you can see here, right, example taken. First, you have to initialize button. You have taken one variable that is called as what? Uncount and initializing by what? 0. Okay, initializing nothing but one start value. Okay, and coming to the while count and taking what while as a keyword and count this variable should be what until it till what to up to how many times to into what. Okay, it should be what while count is less than 3. It should be what end up to what less than 3. Okay, and I'm print to what print of count. Okay, and we have to after that one we have to give the updation like the count plus or equal to 1. It's nothing but plus or means equal to means 1 means what count is equal to count plus 1. Like that it will be work. When the count becomes the less than 3, it will stop, and then the it will be loop will be ended. Okay, like that loop will be done. And these are the real world application of your looping that are what loop is for data analysis, processing millions of records, and they are enabled to for web scraping of product pages and like a trade game developments, mind loops, and automation the scripts batch process to thousands of flies, network programming relays, and the loops are continuously listen for your client connection. You have a multiple, it's a half a million of your data is there. You have to repeat that one task for your handling the data. Okay, you can use the what looping statements. That are the beauty of the looping statement. And let's learn the deeply with the programming. Then you can get the easily with the looping statement. You can easily understand. I hope you can see my screen. Yeah, let's start. Said right, what are the looping statement? A loop is in a way I tell to computer to repeat the set of instruction multiple times instead of writing the same code. And over the to overcome this again, we can use the what loop and to execute for that code for you. Okay, and you can let me I said right. If you want to say hello once, okay, you just what say print hello. Okay, if you want to say hello in 10 times, you do not want to write print alone in 10 times. That to overcome that one, we can use what? Loops. Okay, I said right in loops over there how many times? One is for loop and is another one is what? While loop. Okay, in for loop, use when you know how many times of you want to repeat the something or when you want to go to the each item in a collection. Okay, and you can for while loop, you can using the while loop what when they use it when the you want to repeat the something as long as certain condition is true. Until a condition true, you don't know the end value, right? Then you can use what while loop. Okay, and first we discuss the for loop, then we go to what while loop. Okay, first for loop is what? For loop is what? Only for what? Iterating the overing a sequence. Okay, sequence means like your list, tuple, dictionary, set, or string. Okay, or other also iteratable object. Iteratable means it can be we can iterate to that one. Okay, this means what goes through what each items in a what in each items in the sequence one by one. So for loop you can be handled easily. Okay, let me take the basic syntax. Okay, forward for loop. This is for your basic syntax. I should be what first you have to mention what for. Okay, after that you have to mention what your variable name, and after that one I'm using what here in is what membership operator. Okay, you can use the in or you can use what item of like that. So many is there. I will continue in the next two topics. Okay, and you have to mention in a sequence. This is what your variable the value or you can mention what data. Okay, it should be end with what colon. After the colon, when you enter, it will take automatically what indentation. That is called as what space. You can use what one tab space or four times of your space bar. Okay, and you should be what you have to add here what code to be executed for your each item. Okay, and next, let's explain the this keywords. Okay, for is what? This is a keyword tells the Python you are using what? For loop. Okay, then item. Item is what will do means this is a temporary variable that all will what each the item of your sequence during the each repetition of the loop. It will count that. It will hold that value. Okay, then you can the name it what anything you want. Okay, like your number, letter, element, like your wish. Okay, and you can take IJ, that can be a easy thing. Okay, and you when I am using what in is what is a keyword and it is also what is membership operator, that is what specify the sequence in the loop through that one. Okay, and sequence is what this is a collection of items and you want to go through the like a list of numbers, strings, characters. You can add list, tuple like that. Okay, we can do to the sequencing or we can iterate to that one. Okay, and I use the colon. Colon is what? Do not forget the colon that marks the what beginning of the loop body. Okay, that the computer know when you end with a colon, that will be the code will be started from the after the colon. Okay, and indentation is must. I already mentioned right. You have to use the only four spaces, or you can use what one tab space. Okay. Let's do the one start the example with the for loop. That is first example is called as what? Looping through a list of number. You want to print a list of number, right? Then you can use what? That through a list of numbers I've taken. And here is what? List of numbers. So my numbers are what? 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5. And which data type is this? List data type. Okay, you can see it. How to identify list? Okay, the data value should be what enclosed with the square bracket, and value should be what separated by the comma. Then you know what this is a list. Okay, and you can see here, right, and tick what I want to print the we want to print what each number in the list. Okay, we want to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in what order? In a row wise. Okay, in a row wise. Okay, I'm taking what for number in my numbers. You can know, right? I'm starting with I'm using what follow. So I'm using what for keyword. When I'm using the for keyword, computer know you are using what? Looping statement. That is what? For loop. Okay. Then I have to mention what? One variable. That is your wish. Like you can take element, a number, j. This variable what will do means it will iterate. First it takes, so it will go for one, then it will go for two, and it will go for three, and it will go for four, it will go for five. Like iterating that one. Okay. Like your indexing will be work, right? Like that. This variable will be work. Okay. Next one, I'm taking what? In. So in I'm checking when in checking what in I want to check in what this variable this right this variable, what is that one? My numbers I want to check. So I want to use what? Membership operator. So I want to take what number afterward in. Okay, then my numbers. Okay, my numbers is what? This variable. This variable contains this list. So after that end with what? Colon. After the end with colon. Okay, when I enter here, it will take automatically space. If not takes, you have to take what? Four spaces or tab space. Okay. So after that, I want to what the task. You have to looping through a list of number. I want what? Print each number in the list. Okay. I want to print like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row order. Okay. So I want to use print number. The print is having inbuilt what? New line condition. It will print what? New line. Okay. You can see, right? The new line is already inbuilt that one. So when you use the print statement, it will like a print in a row wise. Okay. So I'm running this one. So I'm connecting to the my kernel. You can see, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how for loop will be work. Okay. This is one of the method we use. That is you using the in, and when we using the like a multiple value data type, we can use what? In, and we can use what? One variable name. Okay. Better you understand. Okay. And let me do the another example that is called as what? Looping through a string or character. Okay, you're having the string. I have to what? In the iterating with inside the what? The characters. I want the characters of that string. Okay, so I'm taking what? One my word as a variable and given what? One Python. That is what your word or like nothing but your string. How to identify string? It should be what? Enclosed with a single quotes or double quotes. Okay, what is that mean? Python. Okay, you can do the indexing, right? What's it called? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. You know, it will be work like this one. Okay, and this is the Python. There's a sequence of characters string that in. Okay, then we have to what? We'll print each letter of your word. I have to print like P. After that Y, P, H, O, N. In what? Row wise. Okay, and I'm taking what? For that your for loop I'm using. So I'm taking one variable that is for what? Iterating purpose. So what is that one? I'm taking what? Letter. Okay, I want to print letters, right? So in what? This variable is called as what? My word. Okay, I want what? Print what? Print. I want to print what? Letter. So I have to mention here what? Letter. So I'm running this one. You can see, right? Python. Okay, this is how can we looping the for loop in the using what? In operator. Okay. Okay. Let me do what? Using what? For loop with the range function. Okay. What is the range function? Let's do. Let's see. Okay. And often you want to the repeat something with a specific number of times. You have to mention what specific number of times. That will be run like a when your condition will be equal, then will be stop. And until what? It will do the task. Okay, like a loop of number through a number for segments. The range function will be the perfect for this. Okay, and I'm taking here what? Range of what? Inside what? You have to mention what? Stop value. Okay, inside what? You have to mention what? Stop value. Okay, this generate what? Sequence of numbers and starting from what? 0 up to, but not including what? Stop. Okay, if you're not including stop, it will write up to what? End value. If you mention the any stop value, it will tell, it will run until what? Your condition. Okay, let me do with an example. I want to print what? From the numbers from what? 0 to 4. Okay, that is what? Total number is 5 numbers total. So it can be a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, but I want to print what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is what total 5 numbers, right? Okay, I have to what? Take one variable. What is what? Okay, I'm taking one keyword for what? For loop, and variable is called as what? high. This variable what will do? Iterate that one. Okay, in I'm taking in. Okay, I'm taking what? Range. Range of what? I'm here what? Inside of what I ought to mention 5. So I want on till only I want what? 4. So I mentioned here what? 5. In Python, when you using the any for loop, while loop, you have to mention what? Up to what in value means you have to plus one, you have to the your plus one value to be added here in stop value. If you want me until the 4, you have to mention what? 4 plus 1. What is that one? 5. If you want until the 5 means you have to mention what? 5 plus 1, that is 6. Okay. Afterward, I want to print what? I. So when I'm printing the I, it will be work up to, it will print what? From 0 to 4. You can see, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that, it will be work. Okay. And another one. Okay, you can use the range function using what? Start and stop also. Okay, I want start value. I inside what? I've given a start value and separated by comma. And you can use what? Stop. Stop for what? Your ending value. Okay, this generate what? A sequence of numbers starting from the start up to. Then you can be including the stop also. Okay, let me check. I want to print for numbers from what? 3 to 7. I want to only print the numbers from what? 3 to 7 only. Okay, that can be what I want to for. I'm taking the what for loop, and J is a variable for iterating purpose, and in I am using and range of what? In range, inside that you have to mention what? Start value. Start value what? I want start from what? 3. Ending value should be what? 7. But in Python, you have to stop value what? You have to mention what? Remember that one? You have to mention plus 1. Okay, that is what? 7 plus 1. That is what? 8. Okay, should be for loop, it should be end with what? Colon. I am to print what? J. When I'm printing the J, it will print from what? 3 to 7. Okay, when I am running this one, you can see, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that, it will be work. Okay, this is how using the start value and end value. Okay, if you give the only one value inside the range function, that work as what? Stop value. Okay, if you give the two values, that is considered what? Start value and end value. Okay, and next one. That is what? Using the 3 start. That is what? Start value, stop value, step value. What is the step? You learn in the what? Indexing, right? You learn in what? Indexing, right? Okay, in indexing, what is step it will do? It will do the updation or jumping. Okay, like that will be or skipping. Okay, it will be like that. It will be work. Okay, this generate was sequence of starting from start value and stop value and by the what step each time. Okay, and like you want to print even numbers, odd numbers, like that we can use for what step method. Okay, you want to reverse means you can use the step. Like when you use the -1, it will be what reversing. Okay, and I'm printing what even numbers from what 0 to 9. I want from even I want even numbers from I have to print that one. What is I'm using 0 to 9. So I'm taking what for loop for and k. I'm given one variable name. If you can give any variable, you can give the name, you can give the only letters. That is your wish. Okay, and you have to follow the rules I mentioned in the first class. Okay, and in range I'm taking and starting value should be what? I'm start value is 0. Mention always remember start value what? When you give the condition, right? The start value is same as your question. Okay, when you mentioning the stop value, you have to mention what? Plus 1. Okay, here what? Up to 1, 9 means you have to mention what? Here 9 plus 1 is that is what? 10. So I want here what? Even number. If you not mention the step means it will always what? 1. So I want what? Even numbers only. Okay, after the what? 0. 0 is what? Even number, odd number. 0 is what? Remember that one. 0 is always even number. So after the 0, I want to skip what? 1. So after that one skipping, what is the next number? 2. 2 is what? Even number. That should be what? 3. Then 3 should be what? Skipped. Okay. Then 4 should be what? Printed because 4 is what? Even number. Okay. Like that should be what? Run. Okay. Oh, for skipping that one. So I'm giving the step value as what? 2. So when I'm printing this k, you can see now what? It printing what? 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. These are what? Even numbers. So I will not give here what? In place of 1. So I given what? In place of 2, I given what? 1. So I'm running this one. You can see, right? Step value given. It should be what? Printed from 0 to 9. All things. Okay. So here I'm not mentioning anything. Okay, like a step value are not included. I'm included only what start value and stop value. Can see right? If you not mention anything that can be stop value, its default value is what? 1. Okay. And like same thing like your indexing. Okay. And I mentioned here what? 3. Okay. When I'm mentioning here 3, you can see right step value 0, 3, 6, 9. Like that it will be work. Okay. So I'm mentioning here what? 2. Can see right 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Like that it will be work. Okay, if you want means you are you want what odd numbers. So if you want what you do means instead of start value from 0 what I give on what 1. So when I'm giving the 1, it start from what 1. 1 is what odd number and 2 is for 2 should be skipped. That is what even number. I want next what 3 and given what step values only the 2 like a same thing as given even number. But start value and I change. So I'm running this one. You can see right 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. These are what odd numbers. Like that it will be work. Okay. Okay. You can use what for loop with your what else block also. Okay. I can use the if else all thing you can use in what for loop. Okay. And it is optional. Good to know if you want this. Okay. Let me take one example. That is what for loop for number in I'm taking one least what you can directly mention the least here also or you can mention one variable and you can give the data value you can mention in the this in and this variable name also you can give. Okay, you can to overcome that one you can directly give that least tuple or directly. Okay, in I'm taking one list. Okay, I'm printing what the processing number comma number. Okay, when I give you the print only in the number it will print what 1, 2, 3 all thing will be printed. Okay. And else see what print all number is processed. Okay. Let me print this. What it is printing right now? Processing number 1, processing number 2, and processing number is 3, and all number is processed. Okay, like that will be work. Okay. Since that this loop was completed for all iteration without any interruption, so the else block was executed. Otherwise, it will not executed. Okay. Uh, the next one is what? This is still now for loop will be completed. Like that, it will be for loop work. Okay, remember that one range function one and in function like that. String in range, but you can use only the start value or stop value and start and stop value. And can you can use what start, stop, and step value. When you use in the stop value, you have to give the +1. Remember that's it. Okay, that will be enough. Okay. A second loop, the second type of looping statement is called as what? While loop. Okay, the while loop is used to what? Execute the block of statement repeatedly as long as given the condition is true. Okay, this is for useful when you don't know the before and how many times you have to note it to loop. Okay, this is for basic syntax of your while loop. And I'm taking what here? While keyword. Why I'm mentioning the while keyword? The system had to know, right? I'm using what? While loop. So I'm mentioning what? While. And this is for your condition. You have to mention what? Condition. Okay. And here you have to mention what? Code as executed. Okay. Let's run. Let's do this one. Okay. And let's do it. Now expand this one. While. While is what? Keyword. Okay. How many keywords in your Python programming? 35 keywords. Okay. But in 35 keywords, while is also one of that one. And while keywords there was Python, you're saying in while loop and condition. This condition should be your expression, evaluate your either true or false, and will be loop will be continuing as run as your condition is true. After getting the first, the condition should be what? That while loop will be stopped. Okay. And this is for colon. And do not forget that one. Indentation must be after the indentation, you will take what? 4 spaces or one tab space. Okay. And it's a crucial condition for you when you are using the have to mention what stop that can be you have to mention what update value. Otherwise, it will go for infinite. Okay, let's do this one. So I'm while loop, I am taken what one I have to counting up that one values. So I have to mention when you're using the while loop, I have to mention what initializing value, updation value. That should be must and should. Otherwise, it will be not work. Okay, and if you're using the for loop, you do not mention any start value. Like you mentioned when you are using the range, you mention in the inside the range function what you are using, right? The start value, stop value, and step value. To in but while loop we have to mention in a different order. Okay, I'm taking in a variable is called as what count and initializing by what 0. This is nothing but your start value. Okay, and I'm using what while the count and less than should be what 5. This while loop should be worth many times less than 5. That is nothing but 4 times should be work. Okay. And I want to print what count is that is count. I have to count. Okay. Our how much should be what start from 0. That can be a count. Count I am given the here updation. After the print statement, we'll do what here updation I have to keep. Count is equal to what? Count plus 1. This changes what value of your count and making the condition eventually what false. Okay, when I am running this, you can see right count is for 0 and count is for 1, count is for 2 and count is 3 and count is 4. It will be like work. If you want means 5 means you have to include what greater less than or equal to what 5. Then it will do what 5. Like that it will be work. Okay. And explanation coming to the explanation, we can write that we are start with what count as 0. We have to initializing what you have to initialize a value that's called I also call it for starting value. Okay, and you have to give the condition that is what count is less than 5 is true. Yeah, otherwise 0 is less than 5, right? So it will be run. Then like that it will be like 1. This 1 is less than 5, yes, true. Next 2 is less than 5, is correct. And 4 is less than 5, is correct. Okay, then 5 is less than 5, it will be false. So it will be not work. Okay, till that the loop will be same thing will be repeated. Okay, and inside the loop executes print statement that is what count becomes 1, count becomes 2, count becomes 3. Like that it will be work. Okay, and coming to the second example, that is your user input validation. Okay, like your password, right? So I'm taking here what one password. Okay, I'm given what empty string. Okay, empty string means how to identify empty string. If you not, you mention only the double quotes or single quotes. Okay, start and end. It called as what empty string. Okay, I'm taking what your password. While password is what while password is not equal to what secret. Okay, it will be not equal to secret. Then until you have to what repeat the looping statement. Okay, like that you are when you're using any login, like let me take an example like your mail. Gmail mail ID. Okay, when you have to mention username. After mentioning the username, you mention the password, right? If your password is correct only, then you can exit. Then you can log in. Otherwise, it will be asking repeatedly, right? The password is incorrect, like that. Okay, like that. They are working on which concept? Looping concept. Okay, I'm taking here what? While password is not equal to what? Secret. Secret is nothing but what? My password. Okay, I'm taking here what? Password is equal to what? Input of enter the password. Input what will do? It will take the input from what? User. Okay, and if password is not equal to secret, that is what you have to print what? The incorrect password, try again. Like that it will work. Okay, and first should be what print welcome you and enter the correct password, like that. Okay, yeah, I'm mentioning here not updation because if not mentioning updation means like you don't try it. Okay, updation is nothing but I'm given right count is equal to what count plus 1. Count is already I declared, right? So yeah, if you mention the count plus 1, it will be work till what only the this condition will be true. Okay, if you not mention the updation, it will work like a what? Infinite loop. Okay, until that this condition will be true. Okay, so I'm running this one. Enter the password it will be asking. Okay, I will mention the password as what ABC. Okay, it will be not like it will be not it's running till again. So I will mention again what 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, it will be in showing what incorrect password. Try again and I mentioned what something like that. This one password. You can see right incorrect password. Try again. So again I want this one like ACM. Okay, that is incorrect password. Try again. Again it will be less showing same thing. Okay, here I mention your password. Okay, what is the correct password now? Secret. Can see right? the looping will be stopped when we mention the correct password. You can see here, right? Welcome. You are enter the correct password. Like that, it will be work. Okay, this is the beauty of the what? Your looping statement in the Python programming. Okay, this is the use of one while loop. Okay, that's because when you are having the infinite loop, we can use what? While loop. Because you don't know the condition, the stop condition. Okay, that in that time we can use what? While loop. Okay. And you can use the like a for loop or while loop with the else block. If while loop will be condition, all condition will be work, then only the else block will be printed. Otherwise, it will be not printed. Okay, I'm taking what here counter 0 and while counter is less than 3, I'm printing what loop iteration and counter. Okay, I'm taking here what updation. Okay, counter is equal to what updation is nothing but your stop value and counter is equal to what counter plus 1. Okay, else it should be what loop is finished normally and counter is now is a your I mentioned here counter. Nothing but your last value will be printed. Okay, I'm running this one. You can see it. Loop iteration is 1, 2, 2 because I'm given what less than 3. If you give the less than or equal to means up till until I got loop iteration 3 will become. Okay, and loop finish normally and counter is now is true. You can use the else block inside the what while block. Okay, keep in your mind and understand the syntax how to write. Okay, in while loop what we'll do means first you have to mention what one variable name for what iteration purpose, that is also called a what you have to give the start value, that calls for what initialization. Okay, you have to mention what while keyword, then you have to mention what condition with that variable. Okay, after that you have to mention your code over have to repetition or any printing statement. Then after that you have to give what below that one you have to give what updation, that is what work until you have to work. If you do not mention the updation, it will work like a what infinite loop. Okay, and if else block will be optional. Okay, and I have to show me it is what looping statement will be completed. Okay, and yeah, then looping statement there are called as one control statement. You have to control that looping statement, right? So there are control statements is there. Okay, sometimes you have to need more control and over to loops behave. Okay, and the Python provide what special statements for this. That is what two types. That is one. First one is what break and second is what continue. Okay, and I'm starting with what first one is what break. That is called as what break statement. Okay, the break statement is used to what exit a loop immediately or when break is encountered, the loop stops and the program continues with the code right after the loop. Okay, let me do it with example, then you can easily understand. I'm using what break here. So I taken one variable that's called as number. Inside that I give one data value that is what list. Consist of what 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay, I'm taking here what for loop. Okay, for loop I'm taken. So I'm mentioning one variable is called as what num. Okay, that is what for you are when you give the for iterating purpose. Okay, in what I'm mentioning here is variable name that is called as what numbers and with what colon. This is how to write what the for loop. Okay, and I am taking here what I'm mentioning the code here. What is that one? If num is equal to 0. Okay, if what number is equal to 30 means the 30 is equal to 30. But it will iterate like that, right? 10, 20, 30. Then we get that where 30 in place of number 30 is equal to 30. Then it should be what print the font is 30 and the breaking the loop. You have to mention the what you have to come out of the loop and it should be not it will run but 40 and 50. Okay, that can be I mentioned here what break. Break will what will do means exit the loop here. Okay, then print the current number is that is what current number is num is what 30, right? Current number. So printing the list loop is finished. Okay, I'm running this one. You can see right the current number is what 10 and current number is what 20 and the current number is means will first iterating how much like first it iterate from what 10, right? That first the current number is what 10 and iterate to next one is what 20 and it should be current number is what 20 and it will go for 30 and this is condition is what number is equal to 30 means 30 is equal to 30. Then if what this block will be true, then will be what will be printed the phone 30 and breaking the loop. And after that we have to print what loop finished. Like that it will be work. Okay. And instead of I'm giving the 30, I mention here what? Here only 10. Okay, you can see right? Phone 30 breaking the loop and loop is finished. Okay, like that it will be work. So we can mention here what 50 also. And this one like current number is 10, 20, 30, 40. And what 50 is 400. So we can phone 15 breaking the loop and loop is finished. And if you know, if you mention like not in the list means like I am mentioning here what 100. 10. Can see right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And it will not print it like a phone 13 breaking the loop. It's not printing because the 100 is not in the loop, right? So the loop is finished. Okay, like that it will be work. It 30. You can see right? Like that the break will be work. Remember break what will be work. What is the use of break? Have to exit from the loop here that situation because when we phone that one, we have to overcome that one. So we can use that what control statement is called as what break. And you can use the break in while loop also. Let me do. So I'm taking what high. High is what for initializing value. I taken what 1. So while true. Okay, this loop will not infinite without what break. Okay, and when I'm printing what print current value of I is what high. Okay, and if I is equal to 3 means if I get 3 is equal to 3 means is come out of the loop, right? So I'm printing what I is 3 and it is breaking. So I mention here what break. Okay. After the break, I have to mention what updation value. That is what I is equal to what high plus 1. Okay. I have to print what loop has ended. Okay. Like that it will be work. So I is equal to means what initialization. Okay. This is what while loop. Okay. I'm printing what here true means what condition. Okay. If it's true, then it will be stop. Otherwise it will running what infinite loop. Okay. And I want to mention here what if I is equal to 3 and printing I is at 3 and breaking. So on to break. And so I is equal to 1. Can see right indentation should be what very important. Okay, while look after that will you can have one tab space. When I am entering here what if will be here come and again I am using what here colon. So after using the colon when I enter here again on tab space from the if row. Okay, then it should be what after that I have to enter the break and always there should be what inside the while loop after right you have to give the updation. Okay, after I have to print loop as ended is out of the while loop. If you mention inside means it will work as a loop. Okay. So I mentioned here it. The current values I'm getting what 1, current value of I is 2, and current value of I is what 3. And we get the like, 3 is equal to 3. So I is 3. So is breaking and loop has ended. Like that it will be work. And we can use what break in while loop also, for loop also. Okay. And I have to show to you and not mentioning here any condition. So I'm running this one. You can see right. This loop will be infinite without the break. So syntax there is involved syntax. You have to mention what after the while loop. You have to mention what syntax. That is what you are called condition. You have to follow the syntax. Okay. And second control statement is called as what? Continue. Okay. The continue statement is used to what? To skip the rest of the current loop iteration and to move to the next iteration. The loop does not stop completely. It just skip what? Current cycle. You have to skip what? That condition only. Then you should be what? Run normally. Like that. You have to use what? Continue. Okay. I'm taking here what in the for loop that you can use what continue and I'm taking what one variable that is what numbers. So that is what 1 in comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. So I'm taking here for num mean numbers I'm taking. So when I'm using the for num mean numbers, that is what num is I'm taking what one variable that is what purpose iteration purpose in what in numbers. Okay. So I'm here what taking if num is percentage 2 percentage nothing but in Python it is called as what modulus. It is for what divisible. Modulus what will give reminder of that value. Okay, when I'm get the reminder that is what 0 equal to 0. That is what that the number is called as what even. Okay, so I'm printing what print the skipping even number that is what number. Okay, I'm taking here what continue. Continue what we'll do? Skip the rest of the current iteration and then print the what processing the odd number. Okay, when I'm running this one, you can get to know. You can see it. The processing odd number is what? 1. This is what? Odd number. And skipping the even number is called as what? 2. Okay, and processing the odd number is what? 3. And skipping the even number is what? 4. And processing the odd number is what? 5. Like that, it will be work. Okay, to mention, right? You have to remember. But okay, when you're using the break, it will what stop that condition and will exit from the loop. When you're using the continue, it skip that iteration and will be brought print that one and again continue in the next after that normally in the loop. Like that continue will work. Okay. I can use the continue in a while loop also and taking counter as 0 that is for initialization and while counter is not less than 5 and counter is equal to what? Counter plus 1. This is for your updation. Okay, I mentioned here what? If counter is equal to 3 and print what? Skipping 3 and continue I'm giving. Okay, this is what current value should be printed. So I'm printing this one. So current value is what? 1 and current value counter value is what? 2 and skipping what 3 years. So when I get the 3, it should be what skipped. Okay. Then current counter value is what 4 and current counter value is 5. Like that it will be work. So you can clearly observe here when I use in the continue means it will be printed current one. When I get the 3, it should be what skipped. Okay. Why I am using here continue, right? That's why it's skipping. Otherwise it will be work normally after that one. Okay. This is our beauty of your continue control statement. Okay. And next one is what? Nested loop. Nested loop is nothing but using the same thing in the inside the that loop. Okay, I'm using here what? For loop. Okay, I'm using what? You can the for loop. This is for outer for. This is for inside for loop. Called it as what? Nested loop. Okay. And inside what your loop should be what completely all its iteration. It should be what single iteration of your outer loop. Okay. And I'm making here what for high in range and I'm taking from start value of what 1 comma 4. What will do means what when I taking the 1 comma 4 it will print what like that 1 2 3. Okay, when I give the start value should be what plus 1. Okay, so if I want from 1 to 3, you have to mention the 3 in place of what stop value that is what 3 plus 1 that is 4. So I want to print the what outer loop that is what high I want to print. So I'm mentioning what here high. Okay. When I'm mentioning the I, it will print what outer loop. That's what 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm taking here what for j in range. That is what start value should be what 1 and end value should be what 3. This inner loop will what print what 1 comma 2 only. Okay. And printing what inner loop. That is what your inner loop. I'm taking variable is called what iterating purpose j. So I'm printing what j. Okay. After that, I have to mention what product. That is what I into j. That is what I into j. That is like example 1 into 1 is what 1. Like next 1 into 2, 2. 1 into 3, 3. Like that. 2 into 1, 2. 2 to is a 4. 2 to is a like what. Okay, it will take only it will in range it will be what printed 1 and 2 only. Here 1, 2, 3 will be printed. This is for when you use the nested loop means you have to use for when you are using the patterns, right? Pattern programming. We'll start from tomorrow's like when we start on the programming like when we start from for 1 day full for while loop 1 day full for what for loop we have to work like that. Okay, then we can solve so many problems. Okay, you can see right. This is for outer loop. Okay. Inner loop that is what 1. Inner loop is what that is 2. And product is what 1. And product is what 2. Okay. And it will take the outer loop as what 2. And inner loop is what 1. And 1 in 2 into 1 is what 2. Next you will take inner loop that is j. That is 2 into 2 is what 4. Next it will take for outer loop that is what 3. It will take for next 3 into 1 that is what 3. And 3 into 2 that is 6. This is how nested loop will work. Okay. Don't be confused. When we solve the problems, you will get to know. Okay. And coming to the revision form, and loose helps you to what? Repeat the code efficiently and for loop for iterating the over sequence like your list strings, tuples. We can use what range that one method. In the range, we can use what start value, stop value, and step value. Okay, when you use the number of iteration and want to process each item, you can use what for loop. Okay, when you want to do the while loop, you don't know the what condition, and we have to what repeating thing code for long as condition is true. Okay, be careful for the infinite loops.